I am Byron Dixon. I am one of the school leaders here at Caddo School, along with Vice Principal, another school leader, Ms. Yolanda Babylonia, who's taking care of business while I'm here. Once again, we're definitely honored to host a gathering of our school district. I want to thank our superintendent and advisory board for being in attendance today, or for joining us today. Before we begin, I would like to obviously acknowledge some of our distinguished guests. I'll say all of our distinguished guests because I'm not sure of everyone's name, so welcome everyone. Okay, welcome everyone. I do want to say a special welcome to our partners from next door to Boys and Girls Club, Mr. Guy Still representing the Boys and Girls Club. And we are definitely partners in this facility and all that we do in serving our children. I'd also like to welcome all the parents in attendance today with a special thanks to our school community coordinator, Ms. Loretta Rodan. Where is she? There's Ms. Rodan. Give her a round of applause. Okay, she's hosting another one of the superintendent's roundtables today in our parent center. Actually, that went on this morning. Just a few notes about what's going on here in this building, Caddo, my school, our school, the city school. We are off to an exciting school year. Definitely another exciting school year. Our student body and support continues to grow, as you can see. The turnout we had for Dad's Take Your Child to School Day was probably, I know it was the best in the district. We had over 150 fathers or dads in this building. And tonight, you're more than welcome to come back for our back to school night from 5 to 7 p.m. I'm sure we'll have a great turnout as we usually do here at Caddo. So if you're in the area, if you want to come back and maybe walk the halls, visit some of the classrooms, and obviously speak to some of the staff members, you're more than welcome to do so. And in addition, that's all I have for this time. But on that note, I'd like to introduce our superintendent, Mr. Camden Rouhanifard.
So before Mr. Dixon gets on with leading the school, I want to just thank him for hosting us. We've held numerous events here at Caddo. For a number of you all who've been to those, you're well aware. And I just want to, as a small token of our appreciation, share this framed print from resident Camden artist, the Butlers, Ranjan and William Butler. And this actually commemorates President Obama's visit to Camden a few months ago, and we just wanted to share this with you, Mr. Dixon, to hang up here for the Caddo community. So thank you again so much for all
Thank you. I can't take it home.
What was that?
I can't take it home.
I'll leave that ultimately to you.
Thank you.
I also want to just thank everyone for being here today. There are too many people to thank in person, and you're going to hear from more than just me. As you can see, we've got a number of guests here. You guys, by the way, should come back up. I want to make sure you just had a good view of the video. By the way, can we just give a round of applause to the communications team for that really wonderful video? So this is a really special moment for all of us in a lot of respects. I mean, I feel as though whenever we have opportunities like this, it reminds me of what I believe is a healing process that we are going through here. There's so much to celebrate, and there's so much to discuss. And in moments where we can celebrate our children's successes, in moments we can discuss meaningful plans to improve our schools, we are sharing in that healing process, because with poverty at the root of our challenges and decades and decades of systemic challenges that we've inherited here, the best that we can do is focus on what's working. The best that we can do is focus in that healing process. And so today is part of that, in that we can talk about what's working, we can talk about the specific plans in place, and we can prop up our community members who are part of that process that we want to empower to help drive the work forward. And so you're going to hear a lot less from me today than normal, and you're going to actually hear from those community leaders and district staff members and parents who are doing the real work day in and day out to ensure that all of our kids in Camden have access to an excellent education. And so with the strategic plan itself, I think everyone in here knows that the first plan, the Camden Commitment, was one that was predicated on that feedback directly from our community members and parents and staff members. And so no different this time around. We spent a ton of time this summer out there in the community, numerous public events, 5 official public town halls, but so many other just informal conversations that really help inform the work day in and day out. And so in my mind, it's only appropriate that as we go through this plan today, and I know you all have copies and you can walk through it with us, that we go through this plan hearing directly from those partners who are on the ground. And so, without any further ado, I want to just jump into the first promise. Our first promise is about safe students and safe schools. And we made a lot of progress here. We launched the positive behavioral pilot as well as relaunching the Safe Corridors program. And to me, those were no-brainer initiatives. That was really the low-hanging fruit that we needed to move on, because if our kids didn't feel safe going to and from school in absence of the Safe Corridors program, that's a fundamental challenge that we have to address immediately. And same thing with our positive behavioral pilot. Going forward, we want to make sure that that positive behavioral pilot isn't just in a handful of schools, but that we're moving forward in all of our schools. And in addition to that, there's a huge emphasis this year in this plan on restorative justice, because we can't be reflexively suspending students for minor infractions in our schools. And that has as much to do with safety as anything else, because if we're taking kids out of a nurturing learning environment, we're putting them out in an unsupervised environment. And what's more is that a student that's suspended is more likely to be in the criminal justice system, juvenile justice system, and a student that's in a juvenile justice system is more likely to be incarcerated. And so that's a huge, huge emphasis in this plan. And lastly, and this is where we're going to get the chance to hear from one of our community partners, for more serious offenses, including gang violence, we must do everything we can to stop it. And so that involves partnering with community groups and community leaders. And we've partnered with the Camden County Police Department on an initiative called Project Guardian, and we also have another partner here, and that's Sister Helen Cole of the Guadalupe Family Services, to talk about her collaboration with Project Guardian. So let's welcome up Sister Helen Cole.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For those of you who do not know me, I am from North Camden, and I have lived and worked here for 24 years. One of the most significant moments in my life was when Shalyn Seganot was brutally raped and murdered behind Pine Point School in 1995. That was in August, and in December, I just knew I had to do something. So Father Rick Malloy and I, we sat down, we said, what can we do? And our first idea was to have a wake-up call at the mayor's house. We said we would get everybody with bells, and at 4:30 in the morning, we'd start ringing the bells outside the mayor's house saying, like, wake up, something's really wrong here, because we were on our way to 50 murders, and it was so overwhelming. And we thought that was maybe a little violent, so we changed our minds because we were trying to be anti-violent, and we started a vigil for murder victims. And so since December of 1995, every year, we honor each murder victim with an hour of prayer. And we also pray for peace in the new year. And I see some faces out there of people who have joined us with that intense, earnest desire for peace, especially in our city. This has been a 20-year journey. Every time a person is murdered, and especially a teenager, my heart aches. And aches especially for those family members who are left behind to live with that and the trauma that ripples out from that. And so Deputy Chief Wysocki called together a group of people and said, we need to do something, especially after the murder of Tymir Bright, as some of you may remember, on Route 130, and Jameer was killed days after that, a promising 18-year-old football player. Right? We knew we had to do something. So we gathered more and more social service agency people, DIFUS, which isn't called DIFUS anymore, I know. Shows you I've been here for 24 years. We gathered together people from churches, Reverend Parker, I'm sure a lot of you know him from Antioch Baptist Church, and we sat at a table and said, what can we do? So we decided to have a meeting with the youth who have come into contact with the Camden County Metro Police. And so we invited 70 youth. The police went and hand-delivered to the homes letters notifying the parents, your child has been in contact with the Camden County Metro Police. We are concerned that some of their activity is gang activity. Please bring them to a meeting at Antioch Baptist Church. They they delivered 70 letters. They had about 40 people say, yes, we will come and bring our children with us. We had we were outnumbering them really with support services when they arrived. 13 of them signed up for services, meaning that they will come for counseling to Guadalupe Family Services, to the Center for Family Services, to Hispanic Family Services. We want to help these families. And so we looked at the people who didn't come. We decided that our next meeting would be in a school during school time, because surprisingly, of those 70 youth that were identified, about 80% of them attend school. Wow. They're not the ones running out on the streets, they're going to school. When I think about these students, I say to myself, they're lost, and we need to find them. And so that is what we're doing. We had a meeting, we invited again, the police department went to the families, invited them to come again. There were 42 invitations given. 37 signed the permission slip saying that during the school day, their child could be transported to another school for this big meeting. 5 got up that morning and refused to come to school, so 32 attended. Out of those 32, 17 students and their families have agreed to come for help, and they have. We have followed them up. So we are feeling really hopeful about reaching out to those students and those families who are struggling. Some of those parents say, my child in a gang, and some of those parents say, I know he's involved, but I don't know what to do. So we want to partner with them, and that's what we're doing. We know we cannot save everyone, but we can find everyone, and we can offer our hand and try to help them with whatever services they need. And that's what Project Guardianship is about. We have the Attorney General, FBI, we have other people, law enforcement at the table. They tell us no other city is doing this. We are outreaching to students who are 11 years old, 14 years old, already lost in the streets, the activity of the streets. And so I'm here today to tell you, Sister Helen Cole, Guadalupe Family Services, Deputy Chief Wysocki of the Camden County Metro. You can contact us, come up to me after the meeting. If you know a child that you think needs services, we're working closely with the schools, of course. You can tell us. Also, if you want to be at the table, or you know somebody that you think should be at the table, you can check with me and see if they are, or we will invite them, because it is an open table. It's an open meeting. You and I, because you're here, we know we need to protect our youth. And so with hopefully a commitment on your part, a commitment on our part, we will not only change their families, we'll change the city of Camden. I'm in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Cole. So before I move on to the next promise, I want to do a couple quick acknowledgements. We're joined by our board member, Felicia Reyes-Morton, so thank you so much for being here. And I want to acknowledge a longtime employee here at Caddo who recently announced his retirement. I see him in the back of the room, Mr. William Pagan. Does everyone know Mr. William Pagan? So, Mr. Pagan, his late wife, Evelyn, is a legendary figure in the North Camden community, specifically the Molina School community, where she served over 40 years, and she's just near and dear to so many people's hearts. We're still mourning her loss. And Mr. Pagan, I believe over 20 years he's been serving with the school district, and just want to thank you for your service and your dedication to the students here in Caddo. Thank you. Promise 2 is about buildings and technology. There's a quote from Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. How do we make children feel if we let them walk into school buildings where the front entrance is roped off by caution tape? How do we make them feel if they don't have access to basic technology that works? Not every school building looks like Caddo, of course, here in the city of Camden. And we have an obligation to make sure as many of our kids as possible have access to those high-quality facilities. All of them should have access to a high-quality facility. And Sheila Davis knows the importance of a 21st century learning environment, and that's why she fought alongside many others, including Sheila Roberts, who I believe has joined us. Is she here? No. Looks like she's not. For more than a decade, they were in this fight in Lani Square to make sure that their community received the new state-of-the-art building that just recently opened up a few weeks ago. And there's a long history in that fight, and she may choose to tell you the long history, but I'll let her tell the story. But I just want to introduce her as a community leader to make sure that those kids have access to the building that they've now received. Sheila?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Glory be to God. I would like to thank our Honorable Mayor, Dana Elred, her Chief of Staff, Novella Stark-Henson, and of course, my dear friend, Superintendent Paymont. This has been a long journey for the Lani Square West residents. Katrina McCombs can testify to that as well. But along the way, Promise 2 is extremely important to myself, to our community, and to our residents. I have been involved for more than a decade to get our community a new school building for our children who rightfully deserve it. A building appearance is the first thing students, parents, teachers, and community notice when they go to school. If a building is old or falling apart, as a lot of our district buildings are, it doesn't send the right message about how important school is or what expectations the community has for those students. That's why I stand before you today excited. After more than 10 years of advocating for a new school building, Lani Square has finally gotten a 21st century modern building that is over 100,000 square feet with current technology and an amazing athletic field that is serving hundreds and hundreds of children. Through great partnerships and great collaborations with the Mayor's Administration, the Metro Police Department, Center for Family Services, Cooper Medical Hospital, this would not have been possible. And more importantly, in addition to that, we were able to bring in Whittier School that is now a part of the new KIPP building. And if you can just take a chance to go through that school and see the smile and the excitement on those children's faces about getting a quality education in a quality 21st century building is truly amazing. Having a 21st century school in the community does plenty of things. It restores hope and it restores pride. It makes the residents and families feel good. It sets the right tone for the children who entered into the school to receive the excellent education they deserve. In conclusion, I hope that Lani Square is just the beginning. I've heard the superintendent say on numerous occasions how half of the district buildings were constructed before 1928. We did something about that in Lani Square. And I'm hopeful that Promise 2 will help us do something about that in the rest of the city. George Washington Carver says, education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. Once again, on behalf of the Lani Square community and its residents, I thank you. Camden is on the rise.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Promise 3 focuses on teaching and learning. And as you'll see, we really have almost 3 times as many actionable goals in Promise 3 than any other promise. And that's because the core of our work is, of course, teaching and learning. So that's by design. And the plans here are fairly wide-ranging, from additional support for teachers, and we're continuing to move forward to ensure that all of our teachers are not only being evaluated, but are receiving weekly coaching sessions and getting meaningful feedback and support from administrators. To other initiatives, such as a new pilot, which we're proud of, and it's just now underway, that focuses on trauma-informed care to reduce chronic absenteeism here in the school district. And I want to welcome up a community partner to drive home the importance of this work. Her name is Dr. Shawana Moore, who is the valedictorian of the class of 2004 at Camden High, and is now a doctor and an assistant professor at Thomas Jefferson in Philadelphia. Dr. Moore.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be in your presence today. I am Camden homegrown. I actually went through the Camden school system. So I'm happy to share my story with you and hopes that it inspire you and encourage our students to excel. So I graduated from Camden High School about 11 years ago. And as mentioned already, I currently serve as an assistant professor at Thomas Jefferson University. And I'm a board certified women's health nurse practitioner where I practice at a local community health center. So while a student at Camden High School, I had the opportunity to participate in various programs which supported my desire to attend college and impacted my decision to pursue a career in healthcare as well as education. As a Camden High School student, I completed the college preparation track, which included honors courses and advanced placement courses in the following subject areas: English, mathematics, and sciences. Through partnerships between Camden City Public Schools and local organizations, I was afforded unique opportunities which enhanced my career pathway into healthcare and education. The Junior Staff Program, offered by the Adventure Aquarium, provided an educational pathway for high school students to learn about marine biology and allowed participants to teach these subjects to grade school students during summer months. The Girls Excelling in Mathematics and Science, offered by Rutgers University, allowed students the opportunity to take college-level courses on a campus during summer months. The Prophecy Club prepared high school students for college by providing mentoring and tutoring services as well as college tours. And finally, nearest and dearest to my heart, Camp Care Health Corporation provided a yearly paid internship to students pursuing a degree in the sciences. My participation in these programs truly enhanced my knowledge base and prepared me for college, as well as my ultimate career choices. So through the superintendent's promises, especially the third promises, excellent schools, Camden City Public School students will have early preparation for college through excellent teaching and career pathway learning. The Camden Medical Assistant Training Program is a fantastic opportunity for high school students to enter the profession of healthcare early into their career. It is my hopes that this will lead to careers in nursing, medicine, physical therapy, occupational therapy, pharmacy, and education. Literature supports the two careers proven to transition individuals out of poverty are healthcare and education. So let's continue to inspire and encourage our students to pursue careers in these areas as we provide them with the fundamental knowledge through their public education. I leave you with this final quote to keep in mind. Education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Our fourth promise focuses on parent engagement. And I hope everyone in this room can agree that that is an area where we have placed a tremendous amount of time and energy to ensure that our families feel empowered, our families have access to the information they need. And so I'm really excited to introduce a parent of ours, and Shirley Irizarry is going to talk to you a little bit about her experiences here as a Camden parent, specifically about navigating our enrollment system. And I've been very vocal about some of the challenges, and I hear it from parents all the time, where as much as we are working hard to improve communication and to make life easier for our families, there are still certain areas where we have a lot of work to do. And one of them is on enrollment. When it comes to finding a school that meets your child's needs, the process can be really complicated. If you're looking at 8 different schools, you have to have 8 different applications, 8 different timeline, different set of criteria. The special transfer process in and of itself is really complicated. So really pleased to introduce Ms. Irizarry to talk about her experiences and the path forward here as noted in the fourth promise to ensure that we address all these issues. Let's welcome up Ms. Irizarry.
Thank you, Superintendent, and thank you, Mr. Dixon, for hosting us today at Caddo School. But mostly, thank you to all my fellow parents in the audience. I know we could all be busy doing something else, but you decided to come out to say that you care about great schools, and you'll do whatever it takes to give your kids the best education possible. I am like you, a mother who would do anything to give my girls the opportunities in life that I didn't have. And I have lots of girls. Along with my 3rd and 8th grader at home, I am a mom to the 120 girls I coach all summer with the North Camden Little League Softball Division. My girls, all 122 of them, deserve to go to a school that is safe, builds their confidence, and gives them a great education. But right now, too many moms like me feel stuck. They face too many obstacles to get their kids into a good public school. Where do you start? When do you apply? Where do you go for information? I have asked all these questions and have spent days going from school to school, spending hours on the phone, just to give my girls the education they deserve. It started with a special transfer from one district school to another when my eldest, Bianca, was in the 3rd grade. I only found out about the special transfer process because I had a friend in the district. Even after I learned about it, it took 6 meetings and endless paperwork to get her a place at the school where she could succeed. It was tiring and frustrating. As a parent, I received no guidance or support. But that was not the end. As Bianca got older, I knew she needed to be challenged every day in her classes. So I went looking for another option. If it wasn't for my neighbor mentioning how great her kids were doing at Freedom Prep, I might still be looking. I was skeptical, but did my research. After meeting the principal and seeing the school for myself, I was relieved. Enrolling at Freedom Prep was as easy as it should be at every Camden school. But what about parents who don't have the time or resources to crisscross the city, picking up paperwork, finding out application deadlines, and then physically transferring and re-enrolling their kids in school? The current system is set up to make parents do all the hard work with none of the support or guidance they need to know where to begin. That is why I joined Parents for Great Camden Schools and why we attend meetings that push the district to do more to help families like mine and those whose players I coach. We have the will and dedication to give our kids the best education possible, but we cannot do it alone. I am grateful that the superintendent has listened and responded to families' concerns because we deserve better. I hope this new enrollment system is the first step to empower more Camden families to secure their kids a seat at a great school. Thank you.
So finally, with Promise 5, it's about the role of the central office. And that's another topic that came up very consistently in my first listening tour and so many conversations since, where community members would talk about the central office as really this like impenetrable fortress where no one could really get access to the superintendent or a variety of other folks in the building. And it was like this large bureaucracy where it wasn't always clear what everyone was doing. And there are obviously some incredibly dedicated people that have worked in the central office for a very, very long time. And so the challenge is to make sure that we communicate clearly what everyone's role is, and to do this work with a sense of respect and humility and empathy, and to be service-oriented. So when a family comes in and they may have a certain frustration or they may have a certain issue, we should be solutions-oriented and resolve that as quickly as humanly possible, because that is ultimately our role. We are here to support. And I want to introduce somebody who really manifests those qualities day in and day out. Ms. Sheree Perry has been with the school district for 24 years, and she's been working inside of our schools, most recently at Coopers Point. Are you Coopers Point the whole time? Okay. You were also right at PAL. And so she recently joined the central office team, and she runs our Solutions Center. And again, she is somebody who embodies all of those qualities in terms of respect and humility and serving our families with the care and respect that they deserve. So let's welcome up Ms. Perry.
Good morning. Good morning. I want to thank you for having me here today. A lot has changed since I graduated from Camden High in 1989. But what hasn't changed is the dedicated parents that we have helping our students and the dedicated teachers that we have every day in the schools. And that is why I'm excited about our promise number 5, serving our parents, and the positive changes that are going on in the Solutions Center and across the district. A Camden resident, I've graduated 4 children through the Camden City School District and a district employee for 20 plus years. As a parent, I knew the ins and outs of how to get through the system, but I've realized that a lot of our parents, they don't know. So I want to help them. So the Parent Center is a place where people come and they do a lot of formal complaints, and we address their issues and concerns. So over the years, it has become a negative image. But as the new manager of the Solution Center, I'm here to change the culture and climate of that. As stated in our commitment, I want to address all issues and concerns within 2 business days and resolve issues within three business days. We want to treat all our parents with respect, and we want to greet them every day with positive energy. So our ultimate goal in the Solutions Center is to give our parents a timely and efficient manner of how we serve our students and getting back to them with their questions and concerns. So I too leave you here with a quote today: good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. And I want to make the solution the very best it could be. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. All right. So I just want to thank you all again for taking the time to join us today. We should all be deeply optimistic about the path forward here in Camden. Our graduation rate is up. You've all heard me say this before. We have a record enrollment for our pre-K. Our students and staff are telling us they're feeling safer, more secure inside of schools. There are real signs of progress, and as we continue to track our progress, we will share out those results with all of you. So thank you so much for being here. I'm happy to take media questions as we all walk around, and look forward to greeting some of you all. Have a good day.